Today's video is all about energy, and most people want to increase energy. And when people want to increase energy, what they're doing is actually harming them and what we call stealing from Peter to pay Paul. What we really want to do is substantially increase the energy that we have to live life to its fullest without robbing from somewhere else so that you crash the next day. And some people tend to do the typical thing that I'm going to explain here very shortly, and that can cause long-term problems. It also can cause lots of low energy and not building sustained long-term energy. And that's what we really want, is we all want long-term sustained energy so we can live our best life ever. And that's what I hope to show you in this video today, exactly how to achieve that for yourself. Now, there's many ways that you can upgrade and increase your energy. And I'm going to walk you through a number of them so that you, as a really good self-optimizer, are going to take the ones that speak to you and maybe some that feel uncomfortable, and you're going to try them and see how they work in your own life. Because remember, we're all unique, and from the things that we think in our head to the things we put into our body, we're all very different from each other. And depending on what you're thinking about, depending on the sleep you had the night before, and depending on what you just ate, your energy levels are going to differ, and they're going to respond differently to a different energetic practice. So first of all, let's talk about the number one thing that most of us are doing that's probably not actually that helpful, and that is consuming caffeine, typically in the form of coffee. So when we tend to caffeinate ourselves every day, day after day, what we're actually doing is robbing from Peter to pay Paul. That's that old expression, and that really means that we're doing something to the body to give it energy now by taking away something from the body it might need later. What caffeine actually does is it binds to receptors in the body that actually recharge our ATP. So the mitochondria in our body, part of their job is to make a substance called adenosine triphosphate, ATP. Most people call that the energy currency of the body, and it's what gives us energy. I don't necessarily believe that that's 100% true, but let's assume that for this conversation, it is true. So caffeine is bonding to the adenosine receptors. So that means as we wake, we start to burn this adenosine triphosphate. It pulls the phosphate off, and that adenosine needs to dock into this little station in the body so that it can be refreshed to ATP. We can regenerate more energy. But if the caffeine molecule is there, these little molecules aren't able to dock and refresh themselves appropriately. So the more caffeine we drink, the more we're setting ourselves up for an energy crash later, and the longer it's going to take to recover from that energy deficit. So while caffeine can give us a very fast energy, it's not a sustained energy, and it's really not a good long-term energetic strategy. So that's one of those things I would encourage us to stop doing. Not that you have to stop drinking coffee, but perhaps you can go to decaf, which still tastes great, but it's not going to dock to those adenosine receptors. Or you can go to a half calf, or you can just simply drink your coffee later in the day and not first thing when you wake up. And when later in the day, what I'm talking about is even something like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. That might be a preferred circadian time for you to have some caffeine for the most benefit without the downside potentially. So just something for y'all to think about with the caffeine. Now let's get into some strategies, and I'm going to give you some strategies. And what I'm staying away from are like the super high tech, really expensive devices that you'd have to go out and purchase. And I want to give you more of a holistic sense of what gives us energy naturally so that we all can build our energy levels to optimize our health and to have that energy that we all wish we could have, that most of us had when we were children. The last tip I'm going to give you is probably the most important, so stick around for that. And if you want, just fast forward all the way till the end if you want to skip everything else and just get the best. But I'm assuming most of you want to know what some of those things are to upgrade energy in the moment, and I'm going to give those to you right now. They're in no particular order, and that is because I want you to decide what's best and what works well for you. What works best for me is not going to be the same thing for you. So all those people that are following like top biohackers and other optimizers saying like everybody should do this, it's not going to work for everyone. Trust me, never does. Okay, So one of the top things that you can do and that I do to increase my energy levels in the moment, so to get some improved energy when I really need it, is cold water. And that's not drinking the cold water, that's putting yourself in the cold water. So that's otherwise known as a cold plunge, cold thermogenesis, cold therapy, or simply taking a cold shower or a cold bath. Even a cold shower after your already hot shower for about 2 minutes at the very end of your shower can give you a massive increase in energy that really is, well observed by most people. The other things that you can do is get into a cold plunge, which is not always available to everybody, but you can just fill up a stock tank in your backyard with a hose. It cost me $100 to buy a 100-gallon stock tank. Pretty low investment to get cold therapy, especially on a hot day like today, where it is 89 degrees in the house, and hopefully it's going to start going down here anytime. You can also just dunk your face in freezing cold water. So you just fill your sink up or a bowl with water, put some ice cubes in it, and dunk your face in. That alone targets the vagus nerve, which is on the right side of the body, and can also increase energy simply by using this cold shower, cold plunge, or cold water on the face. Super simple and available to most people. Not comfortable for everybody, but very effective. Next, something that we all can do that's absolutely free. Just about everyone in the world can do it, no matter where you are and what diet you adhere to, and that is intermittent fasting. Yes, intermittent fasting can improve your energy levels because remember, when we eat food, we divert energy to create enzymes and digest the food and pull those food particles apart to put them into the body. When we intermittent fast, we can utilize our energy reserves for the things that are mission critical for the body. And often people do have increased energy. And I can just imagine, like, in my opinion, that's probably a survival mechanism. If you're hungry and you need food, your body will give you energy to sustain yourself to get to that food. Now, intermittent fasting, where you're just skipping food for 12 to 18 hours in a day, is not starvation. And so that increased energy can be used for creative endeavors or to get you through your life for the day. Next, I'm going to go with natural sunlight. So natural sunlight creates so many beneficial processes in the body, including nitric oxide, which opens up the capillaries and the vessels in the body to allow blood to flow in a more efficient way. And that in itself can give you more energy, along with all the other unknown benefits that the sun has on our body to upgrade and optimize our unique biology. While you're outside getting sunlight, why don't you think about taking off your shoes and grounding? There's a really good argument for why we have sweat glands on our hands and our bare feet. And that is so that when our hands and feet are connected to the ground, we can more easily absorb electrons. The mitochondria in the body run electrons. They don't run fat, carbohydrates, and protein. They don't take food and run it through the mitochondria to produce energy. They take food and they break it down to electrons, and they run an electron through the mitochondria. Touching the ground with your bare hands and feet is called grounding or earthing, and allows you to absorb the natural electrons of the earth into your body. That's an instant upgrade. Next, sleep. You ever notice when you get really good sleep, you just have higher energy levels and sustained energy levels the next day? See our sleep module for the best tips on how to get your best sleep ever and therefore have higher energy the next day. Next, electrolytes. So often for our body to operate efficiently and correctly, it has to have certain minerals and nutrients in it. Electrolytes are one of the critical keys, and those are things like sodium and potassium. Most of us aren't getting enough potassium. A lot of us get enough sodium, but the potassium needs to be balanced with the sodium, not in a 1-to-1 ratio, but we definitely need a lot of potassium, and certainly a lot more than we're typically getting. So electrolytes can be a really great thing to add first thing in the morning to a water or a drink or whatever it is to increase the energy levels your body can handle and sustain. Now, if you can fully or more completely oxygenate the body, you can have more energy. And there's like some really simple ways to do that. I'm going to list one, but you can look up ways to oxygenate your body. So if you simply just take like apple cider vinegar, some chlorophyll, and some water, and you drink that, or if you drink some sparkling water with that same mixture, you're adding some carbon dioxide and other compounds that help oxygenate your body. And that in and of itself could be a strategy for some people to have more energy. Now, there are ancient practices. I love natural, primal, and ancient practices that help our bodies and tune ourselves to the environment that we're already in. One of those is called Kundalini Yoga. And Kundalini Yoga is an ancient practice of moving energy within the body. And one of the techniques of Kundalini Yoga, in fact, I'm going to share two with you, one that Dr. Joe Dispenza uses all the time, and one that's very common to Kundalini Yoga. So the first is a breathwork technique called breath of fire. And breath of fire can increase the energy in your body while detoxifying the adrenals at the same time. Pretty cool. And the breath of fire is like an in-breath through the nose and an out-breath through the nose. And really all you focus on is the breath out, and your body will automatically breathe in, and it kind of looks and sounds like this. Super simple. You can look up breath of fire online. You can go to Heidi, my wife, who's a Kundalini yoga instructor, to teach you how to do this. It's really simple. That is something I'll use in the car if I'm getting kind of sleepy. I'll use breath of fire and this next Dr. Joe Dispenza Kundalini breath to increase my energy while I'm driving, and it's super simple. You don't need any tools. You can do it wherever you are. The Dr. Joe Dispenza Kundalini breath. So this is a breath used in Kundalini that Dr. Joe popularized in all of his meditations. And it's an energy movement squeezing breath. So what we're going to do is we're going to let all the air out of through our nose typically. So all the air out of our body by breathing out till all of it's completely gone. Keep breathing out, keep breathing out. Then what we're going to do is as we breathe in, we're going to squeeze the intrinsic muscles, like some people call them the Kegel muscles. Basically your perineum and the sex organs are going to squeeze, and you're imagining that lower area squeezing and your spine muscles squeezing as you bring the energy from that lower energy center up the body to the heart and to the pineal. That breath can massively increase energy. That's called the Kundalini breath. That's also called like the Dr. Joe Dispenza energy breath. He uses it in most of his meditations. So if you're not familiar, I'm sure you can find that online. Okay, exercise. So some people might think, oh my God, you're going to tell me that exercising is going to increase my energy, but I have to output energy. I have to give away energy to do exercise. But that's actually incorrect. Not that you're not giving out energy or using energy when you exercise, but if you want to create energy, then you need to do the thing that uses energy. So by exercising and using energy, you can create more energy and sustain energy in the body. Seems like something that's kind of backwards, but it's absolutely true. So even doing something like a nitric oxide release, look up Dr. Mercola or Dr. Zach Bush, nitric oxide release. It's 5 movements you can do anywhere, anytime, and it increases nitric oxide and gives you a nice little energy boost. You can also do something like a HIIT workout, high intensity interval training, where just a brief 5 to 8 minute session can give you a really nice, clean burning energy. It seems counterintuitive, but it absolutely works. Now, one of those compounds that's kind of sexy in the biohacking world that people are said gives you more energy intrinsically is NAD. So this is a nicotinamide compound in the body that can be built from certain B vitamins. And eventually in your body, you're looking to create this NAD+. So you'll see a lot of supplements to improve NAD+, to build NAD+, or even like IVs to give you NAD directly into your body. And supposedly that will upgrade your mitochondria and the energy centers of your body and give you more energy through the NAD+. I'm a little skeptical, but I think it's a little too techy and it's a little too much from outside the body to be putting in. I honestly believe we can do everything all on our own, but it is something for you to look into. If it calls to you, is look up ways to get more NAD. So I know Qualia from Neurohacker makes a product to improve NAD+ levels. You can get NAD+ IVs, and you can take other compounds to make NAD in your body. Certainly you can look into that, and that can be helpful for lots of people. Next, one of the benefits of natural sunlight, but you can also mimic this in the winter with red light therapy, is the ability of infrared light to produce more energy in the body. And what's actually happening is the infrared light penetrates into the cell, it spins an ATPase motor. I think people make all this stuff up and they think they see it under microscopes, but they observe an effect. The effect is real, but then they like try to break it down into the science of like, it's an ATPase motor that the faster it spins, the more ATP it makes and the more energy you have. I do think you get more energy from infrared light. I think there's a mechanism in the body that does it. I think it's quantum. I don't think it's as simple as what they're telling you, but what they claim is when you get in front of a red light device, so red light therapy, stand naked in front of it, you get the infrared light into the cells, the ATPase motor in the mitochondria goes faster without any additional input, just the infrared light, and the faster it spins, the more ATP it's putting out and the more energy you get. So red light therapy or getting outside in sunlight can improve your energy. Some people notice that being around others gives them energy. That's this energetic body. We've got a physical body. We all know we have a spiritual body. We know that we have our mind, which is not just locked in our brain. It's from all over the place. You can't point to the mind. You can take sections of the brain out and the mind still functions. So there's also etheric and there's energetic bodies. And when we're around others, we can build up our energetic bodies. And some people build lots of energy by being around others. So if that's something that really benefits you, go to a coffee shop, go somewhere where you can be around other people or friends or family or whatever it is, so you can upgrade your energy when you need it. If you're somebody that does that, working at home solo all the time is going to drag you down, and you're just going to have to find a way to get around more people as you do your work. Finally, well, okay, let me do one more tip and before I do the final one, and this is for men, it would be semen retention. So when you have sex, instead of always having orgasm that leads to ejaculation, you can retain the semen, which improves the energy that you contain in your body, and probably in all cases that I've experienced will give you more energy because of that practice. That doesn't mean you have to do this forever. You can just do it like every 3 days or every 7 days or every 14 days, whatever it is that speaks to you, or you can do it based on the moon cycles for your astrological sign. I know we're getting a little out there for certain times of the month. So you can figure that out, look up moon cycles and semen retention based on moon cycle on your sun sign when the moon is in your sun sign for that month. Try it out. And finally, for women, of course, having good, deep physical and emotional relationships can improve their energy. And of course, having sex and having an orgasm for the woman improves their energy, where for men, it can often deplete their energy. So something to be said for that. Finally, I'm going to give you the number one thing that I guarantee you will improve your energy and sustain your energy. And that is having a goal that you are excited about. It sounds crazy, but if you have a goal that you've written down and you've thought about and you're really excited to achieve, and you start outlining a way to get to that goal, to reach the goal, now you're excited about having something or achieving something you've always wanted. It's exciting to you. You have a pathway to get there. You have it in your brain that you're going to reach that pathway, and that amps up your energy like nothing else. I guarantee you, when all the other biohackers are telling you to put suppositories up your butt with NAD and whatever else it is, you don't have to do all those things. You can massively improve your energy by having the right goal. If you want to know more about that, you can contact my wife, Heidi. She's got a great coaching program, but she can even just walk you through how to create a goal. It is so simple. It is free, and it massively amps up your energy. I guarantee it.